Hello, everybody, and welcome to the movie zone. We are here to do the movie The Bone Collector. I'll be here by myself tonight. John is really feeling a bit tired, so it'll just be me. So I'm going to start now in just a second. I'm just posting this link on X. So just bear with me. So there we go. I have it ready to go anyway. So we're going to get straight into it because it's 2 hours. Cheryl's away, so I'm actually on Ted duty. So Ted is due out. I timed this so Ted is due out then for his little walk. So we'll get this going anyway. So it's The Bone Collector. I haven't seen this movie in a while. So I'll start it now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Yeah. Actually, I should probably just put the subtitles on because I do have it on the big telly, but I have got it turned down a bit. So if I put the subtitles on just in case I do miss something. But I loved this movie when it came out, I have to say. Not a huge fan of Angelina Jolie, but some movies she could do a bit of acting. What am I have to do on here? See, I hate the PlayStation. Oh, there we go. Right, we need. There we go. Right, we've got it on. Right, anyway, Denzel Washington, Angelina Jolie. So the movie sets up where we see, obviously, pictures of bones and stuff like that. And then we see a little short scene with Denzel Washington's character to lead up to basically set up why Angelina Jolie then is brought in. It's actually a very good story. Queen Latifah is also in this movie, and Michael Rooker, who some of you might know as well. So I had a good old cast as well. Good cast. And Louis Guzman also. Again, a lot of names that you'd know today were in this movie. Good cast. Yeah. Ed O'Neill as well, yeah. So it's setting up Denzel Washington's character. So he's a crime scene investigator, specializing obviously in crime scenes, and he's obviously climbing in one, and then he has a bit of an accident. And then the next scene you see him in is where he's in his bed. And he's basically paralyzed from the neck down. So all he can see is out this little window. Back when they made proper movies. So there's a couple in a taxi, and basically the taxi man's a bit of a weirdo. But you'll find out more about him a little bit later on. Yeah, he's a trapped. So he has them trapped in his taxi, and then obviously he's going to murder them and shit. Then of course it goes back to Denzel. Right, see, this doesn't do this. I've been watching movies, right, for the past couple of nights, yeah, and I haven't had an issue. And as soon as I do a fucking movie stream, I'm having an issue. Like, so just give me a second. This does my fucking head in. I swear to good God. As I said, watching movies. I've even been watching Alf, right? Been catching up on Alf. I haven't watched Alf since I was a kid, and I've been watching Alf. Not one single issue have I had, and now all of a sudden, yeah, this fucking thing. Right, so we're gonna go about 10 minutes now. Right, so you put the English subtitles on again. So now his what this Denzel Washington's character is doing is because he's in a he's basically, you know, paralyzed from the neck down, as I said. He wants to delete himself. I have to be careful, by the way. So he's setting up all of this plan to delete himself, and then what happens is the case falls in his lap, basically, pardon the pun, and he starts working on that then, and basically appreciating life and all of that other stuff. It was a good message in it. There you go. I knew this was gonna happen. It's why I don't do the movie zones any. I stopped doing them. It's just at the stopping completely now. It's just at the stopping completely now. Right? I haven't had this problem, as I said. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is. They're unable to load. Why though? You were able to load a second ago and play. So why aren't you unable to load? Like, unbelievable. Absolutely ridiculous. Great. Can't believe this. I actually can't believe this. I've been literally watching movies on this the whole fucking. I actually don't get this. Yes, yes, yes. Come on. This is unbelievable. Will you stop fucking? Right, well, that's the end of that. It's not happening. So we'll just have a chat. I just took off. I'm done. I'm done. Anyway, quiet weekend. Cheryl's been away. She comes home tomorrow. It's just been me and Ted here. Done a few bits and pieces in the apartment. Brought him out. Did a bit of shopping, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting. Been watching the Euros as well. Pile of shy. But other than that, everything's okay. I was at a rally the other day as well. That took a lot out of me as well, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, no, nothing exciting really. Just doing the usual. Just hold on, just texting John there. So we'll try get that bone collector working. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if I can use Cheryl's computer instead. Like it's there, but I don't want to be going and using her computer without her permission. Do you know what I mean? She's away, so um, so we'll wait because that's that annoying me now. I was actually looking forward to that movie. You know, I got caught up in something. I was supposed to start at 7, but I got caught up in an Irish space I was on. But then once I left, we set the thing up straight away. Had the movie ready to go. Plays the first 10 minutes, and then it's just decided. And listen, as I said, no mess. I've been watching movies on that. I'll tell you what movies I've watched actually over the last few days since Cheryl is gone. I've watched The Core. I've watched Outbreak. I've watched Deep Impact. I've watched The Time Machine, both versions, the classic and the Guy Pearce one. I've also, as I said, I've watched Alf. Right, I'm starting to watch Alf. I'm watching Hawaii Five-O, right? The TV show, the updated version. I do like the updated version. I got a bit silly near the end, but still like the updated version. But I've been watching all of these things, right? And not a glitch, nothing, right? And then as soon as I put on a fucking movie that we're supposed to watch here tonight, it goes all haywire. It's weird. It's weird when I've been able to watch all of that stuff that I told you. And actually, do you know, I've been I've been watching a lot of the so-called disaster movies, you know. So I watched The Core. Obviously, Twister is there. Dante's Peak. You know, you have Volcano. You also had the Sylvester Stallone one. What was that one called again? Daylight. You know, I like those type of movies myself. I have to say, I do like those kind of world-ending type of movies. A bit of a weird fascination I have. And obviously, you know, the Earth stood still, the old one, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, this is what I've been watching over the past couple of months and weeks, especially these last few nights, right? Not a bother, man. Not a bother. And as soon as I try to do movies on, it's actually getting annoying. Anyway, just moving forward. Anyway, we will have Christian back on Tuesdays. So, myself and Christian will be on Tuesdays. Then, obviously, Wednesdays, the same streams. Now, I am, you know, my idea is to try so we'll go back to what we used to do back in the old days and try get people on some of the other days that we don't stream. Because, you know, I miss doing that, actually, you know, bringing on people that, you know, and having conversations with them, because that's, you know, it's the only way that, like, you kind of figure all of this shit out, what's happening with the entertainment industries, by listening to other people's opinions and stuff like that. It's actually great. It is that part of social media, that you can connect to so many people, and it's great, you know. Also shows, you know, some of these people, the impact that they have. You know, I seen someone the other day there on X talking about Clubby. You know, like, I hope Mike knew how much of an impact he actually had on people, because, you know, no matter what we say, you know, YouTube's full of its idiots, right? We all know that. We're full of its drama queens and people that only live for drama and people's lives to be ruined, and they capitalize on that. But there are people like Mike, Clobbering Times, and other channels out there that, you know, did some positive content, you know, and spoke pop culture, you know, comic books and old TV shows and stuff like that. And we need a lot more of that. So, you know, this is what's happened. I remember when I first joined YouTube and I started getting myself out there, the sense of community within the YouTube community was there. People were always willing to help you out, bring you on their channels, come onto your channel, you know, and you'd have like-minded conversations, and you'd have great debates and stuff like that. So that's been lost over these last. I've noticed that. It's lost completely now. You know, people only invite you on your channel, on their channels now if it benefits them. You know, we see a lot of that. That happens quite a lot. You know, people will use people, you know, to build their audience and to build their subscribers, and then when they have no use for you, they just toss you to one side. We've seen a lot of that over the last few years, and it still continues today. You know, people are just driven by, you know, how many subscribers, because all they're thinking of is the money, you know, at the end of the day. You know, I never, and you know this, I never push the fact that, you know, people give me super chats. Well, super chats are there, but I don't keep saying, listen, super chats are there. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that I enforce or at, and I just tell you to like me streams and share them where you can and all of this. And if someone gives me a super chat, it's a fucking bonus, like. Do you know what I mean? But people are only driven by that. They see the cash and they want that easy cash. So, you know, they go down certain routes, they bring on certain people, you know, to boost their rate, because they know if they bring this person on, especially if someone has a small channel, they bring someone on big, right? They know it's going to benefit them, because you know, they're gonna get people that watch that person that you've brought on come into your channel and stuff like that. So it's all just a boost, and I don't like people like that, to be quite honest with you. People like that I actually hate. And a few times I've had the wool pulled out of my eyes by people like that. But it certainly won't be happening again, because the bottom line is, the way I look at it now is, you got to look out for yourself now on YouTube, because nobody else is going to do it anymore for you. But it's sad, because 5-6 years ago, not everybody would go out of their way to either come on your channel or bring you on their channel. And now you see that now people will only bring on certain people at a certain time, because maybe they're controversial. Maybe they'll think they'll get a few views that way and all of that. And it's superficial. Never lasts, by the way. Channels like that never last. They never do, because, as I said, it's superficial growth. If you don't have anything of substance, then nobody's going to stick around. I mean, I think the reason why I've been able to stick around is because I think there's a lot of like-minded people like me out there. I know nonsense. I say it as I see it. And I think there's a lot of people out there. We've lost that as well. I mean, Eminem brings out that song Houdini, right? And Gen Z go absolutely crazy. No, it's not tonight, mate. Just to recap for anybody that is just popping in, right? So I did start the movie zone. We were in the middle of watching the movie, but the place that I'm watching it on has completely just decided not to work, right? So I can't watch the movie now. So I'm just here talking, for a while, so it's not a waste of everybody's time. Real Super Doctor is not around until next week anyway. Hold on. So we're going to leave it till next week. So I'm going to have to change the title of this stream now later on, but it's not the watch along, unfortunately. So we'll do it next week instead, and hopefully I won't have any technical issues. So I said it'd be unfair of me to come on and then just to fuck off. So I'm here having a little bit of a chat, which is and you want a refund. Oh my God, sorry, but there's no refunds available, No refunds available. Nah, but look, I want to do the movies, right? Now listen, some of you that have come here this week, do us a favour, will you? We don't get many viewers on the movie zone, but it's not really for viewer, but Chris does be in the chat in his own sometimes, right? Chris Persia, who's our head mod, along with PD, right? Chris is always in the chat in his own. So if you can make it next Sunday, right? We'll go at 7:30 next Sunday, right? Come in and join us. Even if you haven't watching the movie, I'm pretty sure some of you have seen The Bone Collector, right? And you can have a conversation in the chat. Look, when Chris is there, we talk a lot to Chris anyway. So if there's a few of you in there, it'll be more interactive anyway, because there's less of yous. So we'll be able to, if you put an opinion up, we'll be able to, read it, talk to you about it and stuff like that. That's why I do actually like the movie zones, because there's not, it's kind of contradictory because there's not many people. But Chris does be in the chat on his own, and it'd be nice to see a few people in there with him, just getting the conversation going maybe a little bit, you know what I mean? So we'll do that next week. John will be back and all, so John will be back and all for that. What's the best place to online movies? Well, there is a site that I use, but I can't say it over YouTube. So if you want to message me, you can message me. But I won't be able to say it over YouTube because again, if I mention it, the site would be, you know what I mean. You have to be careful and stuff. But it's probably on Netflix anyway. We just don't, again, as I said, when everybody was saying they were going to boycott the Disney Plus and Netflix and all of that other stuff, we did. Like, we got rid of Netflix. Like, we got rid of Disney Plus. The only reason why I was able to watch Doctor Who was because of my wife's family. But then even after that, when it was dropping live, I wasn't doing the live streams then. So then I didn't have to watch where I was watching it. I watched it somewhere else instead. But yeah, we'll definitely do that because we have a couple of movies that we want to do now. Because even the summer's being dreadful. Normally I wouldn't bring it back in this time because the summer, everybody is out there. But the weather has been absolutely appalling, and it has actually been cold as well. That's the thing. It'd be all right if it was miserable and it was still a bit warm or something, but it's been cold, some days. So that's why bringing it back a little bit earlier than normally would. We'd take a break on it and then we'd bring it back around September. But we're going to do it a little bit early. But we've got loads of movies lined up, loads of, as I said, different types of movies as well. So it won't be the same sort of genre and stuff. We'll be doing different types, and we've actually done a few hundred movies on this channel now at this stage. So we've been doing this a long time. This has been around a long time. I've just given it breaks throughout the years because you keep doing the same thing over and over. People will get bored of it. I mean, in the early days, we did have a lot of people that would tune in, and not as much now. So we try to pick movies that we know might entice people to come in and get involved in the chat. Yeah, I do love Stargate myself. I do. Now, if you're talking about the TV show, loved the what was it? Stargate SG-1. And then obviously the movie with Kurt Russell. Yeah, I love it, man. Love it. I have to say the both. I liked both. I think we did Stargate actually. But we do sometimes if we haven't done a movie in a while and someone brings it up and there's nothing else we can think of, we'll do it. Yeah, Stargate is a good movie. I don't know if we actually did that or whether I just watched that of my own, but I only recently watched it a few months. Yeah, SG-1. I keep getting bleeding me letters confused. But yeah, I did love that TV show. Sky One. They repeated it as well, which was great. So you got to watch it all over again. But yeah. I never really could get into Atlantis though. Have to admit, I couldn't really get into Atlantis. I know a lot of people were saying it was actually decent, but for me, the original Stargate TV show was it for me. When they start doing different spin-offs, if you will, I didn't really have any interest in them. Do you know what I mean? They didn't grab me as much as the original did. That was a great TV show for back in the day. Think about the sets and stuff and the locations and even the costumes, do you know what I mean? So it was very well fucking done. Very well done. We say back in the day, it's not even that long in the day, is it? But you say back in the day because it's still back in the day. But yeah, I have to say, even I even go back still, and I keep mentioning it, but I keep going back and revisiting Star Trek Voyager. I just recently watched the original series and then watched the continued adventures, and then obviously the fan made one. I watched that all the way through. Then I watched obviously next year. I've been going on all these different buzzes, but watching what I want to watch when I feel like watching it, and it's fucking great. It's great. But you see, they want you to buy all these Netflixes and all this because they want to control what you watch. Do you know what I mean? Because they put all the shit. And then slowly but surely, all of the old media that we love, right, it's censored to bits on all of these platforms. I mean, remember the controversy with Back to the Future? What was it, Back to the Future 2, wasn't it? Was it Back to the Future 2? Yeah, the ooh la la scene with the dirty magazine, right? The ooh la la. Netflix cut that out, they did, right? They actually cut it out of the movie, right? Like the main part, like that ooh la la scene is actually hilarious, but it's actually essential to the movie. It wasn't just put in to be funny. But Netflix decided to clip that, and then there was a big backlash. But that's what they'll do to all of our old media. That's why they want to control everything. So it's important that you go out there and buy your physical media, man, as much as you can, because all of these sites, you know, the sites that we watch these things on, they won't always exist. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have to find different ways to watching all it is, and the only way is physical copies. So go out and buy all your physical, because you notice what they've done, right? All the places that sell physical copies are all of a sudden now going digital. And now all of a sudden, like, you know, stop selling physical, right? Because with digital, you'll never own a digital thing, by the way, just to let you know. You never, even if you buy, this is the thing. If you buy a game, I don't know how, I'm pretty sure it's the same across all consoles, but if you buy, say, for example, I bought FIFA 22 on digital. It was the first time that I didn't buy a physical copy. And if you read the small print, it even tells you, even though you've bought this, that they have the right to take it away from you. They have also the right to edit and do whatever to it. It'll be the same with the movie industry, TV shows that you watch. Once they all go digital, then they can change them on a whim. Like wherever the wind is blowing, right? And we're all crazy now. It could get crazier, right? And wherever the wind is blowing, they will actually change whatever the media is to suit whatever the society and their beliefs are of the day. And we can't, that's a dangerous, we're already there, by the way, but it's a dangerous territory to be going down. You know, the bottom line is that physical media throughout the ages, you know, when it first came, it's all history, and you learn from that as well. Instead of erasing and changing things, you learn from those things. But that's not how the modern society looks at things. If something is problematic, we erase it completely. It's, you know what I mean? And that's wrong. You should never erase history, right? You should embrace it and you should learn from it. I'm going to step out and turn some knobs. I'll see you next time now. Have a good one. But, you know, we're living in a very scary time, you know, and everything that's precious to us, they're taking away your rights, they're stripping you down as human beings, they're taking away your sovereignty, you know, your nationality, everything's being stripped from you. And, you know, you've got to preserve all of these things. So, yeah, I would encourage everybody to buy physical media. And here, you know, the digital thing has done something positive. The physical media now is, in some cases, it is cheap. But if you're going for, I suppose, if you go for collector's items and stuff like that, you're going to be charged the premium, obviously. But if you're just going out for the straight, flat out copy, original, the cinematic, whatever copy, you know, it's not really that expensive now. So you find a lot of DVDs and box sets now in bargain bins everywhere. So, you know, if you see them, pick them up. Do you know what I mean? I've picked up a few. Got to be honest. I even have the original Spider-Man trilogy now. Right? And to be honest, you know, I remember the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you know, it did have flaws, I have to say, especially the third movie, you know. But I did like them for what they were. But I went out and I bought them. I bought Man of Steel as well. And I bought other movies there. And I just bought physical copies. Some of them are not even opened yet. Right? But I'm going to keep buying DVDs when I find them, especially ones that are my favourites. I'm going to buy and I'm going to keep them. The thing about the whole digital thing is that everybody was quick to just, you know, put everything on iPods and Apple Pods or whatever you fucking call them, and MP3 players and all of this other nonsense, but they didn't actually think of, you know, the consequence of all of that. And the consequence of that was losing all the physical media, you know, and then them being able to edit, as I said, on a whim because someone has been insulted because of something. See, something that they deem family friendly today, or something that we grew up with family friendly, wouldn't necessarily be family friendly today. We just grew up in a different time. You know, we were open to so much more if you actually look at it. You know, they didn't shy away when we were watching television. I mean, even looking at ads, you know, warning kids about the dangers of electricity, and you're seeing kids being electrified on TV like as part of an ad campaign. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we grew up with now. If you showed that to today's kids, you'd fucking traumatize them for the rest of their lives. They need therapy for the rest of their lives. Actually, you'd probably get an adult convincing them that they're born the wrong fucking gender as well. On top of that. Do you know what I mean? But that's the crazy thing about it, man. Like, our family friendly stuff would never pass today. Would never pass today. The kids would be traumatized, for God's sake. You know, but I don't think it's right because standards and morals have changed slightly, right? That all of these people then dictate to us, you know, well, we have to take away that physical media because it's problematic. No, sorry, might be problematic for you when you now growing up, but for us it wasn't problematic. So, you know, this whole nonsense of taking out on people because, you know, their moral stands completely different or whatever, moral compass, whatever it is. I just think people have gotten soft, to be quite fucking honest with you. Everybody wants to be upset about something. Everybody wants to be a victim player. And I just fucking hate it. Like, you know, if you find, you know, fucking Pinocchio problematic, who gives a shit, right? If you find Snow White the Seven Dwarfs problematic, I don't give a shit whether you do find it problematic or not. I didn't as a kid. When I watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs growing up, I wasn't thinking it's going to be problematic as a fucking kid. Sure, I didn't probably even have fucking sense, whatever you are crapping on about, that's problematic anyway. What, a prince went and kissed her when she was asleep. Big whip-de-doo that fucking day. She got poisoned by a fucking apple. The prince is a fucking hero, in my opinion. Right? All of this bloody nonsense, you know, all of this social warrior shit. Leave it out, like. Do you know what I mean? Same with Sleeping Beauty, man. They even have their own little cartoons where they change to where, you know, Sleeping Beauty's lying down, the prince will come in, then Sleeping Beauty jumps up and says to the prince, no, you can't do that, you need to ask permission and all this bollocks. And I'm like, shut the fuck, it's a story. Get over yourselves. You take life so fucking serious. It's actually funny now at this stage. right? If you find them problematic, nobody's forcing you to watch them, but let the people who enjoy them watch it. Now, of course, some of these lefties will say, well, if you're going to use that logic, well then why don't you let us enjoy Doctor Who? Well, it's because you don't enjoy Doctor Who. See, you just want to see who's screwing who, you know, what their pronouns are, you know, what colour skin that they have, whether they're a feminist or a fucking boy, fucking donkey, whatever, right? That's what you are interested in, right? You're not interested in the show Doctor Who whatsoever, right? The bottom line is Doctor Who should be written for people that actually care about the franchise and not actually care about all of that other nonsense that you care about, right? Nobody doesn't, right? For what one thing anyway, right? The Doctor shouldn't be in a relationship. Bottom line, whether you think that the character should change now, right, and should embrace all of that, I say hell no, it shouldn't. That's what makes the Doctor the Doctor. You take away that and you change that, you change the Doctor, you're basically changing the Doctor's personality, right? And then that's on top of what Chris Chibnall did when he changed the origins of the Doctor as well. So you're changing the character, right? And why are you changing the character? Because you didn't like the character the way it was. So when you say to us that you are the fans and that we're not really Doctor Who fans, I laugh in our faces because you wouldn't know two fucks about what Doctor Who is about. You haven't got a clue. You don't know anything about the Doctor's character and what the Doctor's been through. You might read shit, right? But you don't take it all in. It doesn't sink in with you. You don't have the same connection to the show that we have, right? So when you say to a Doctor Who fan, when you're not really a fan, this show's not for you anymore, you should move on. No. No. You guys should move on. Because you aren't fans, as I said. You will never be fans. You will never understand this show the way we do. Right? I don't mind new people coming in and exploring their show and getting excited about our show the way we do. Yes, I would class those people as fans because they have fully embraced it. They haven't come into the fandom and say, well, that should change. I don't like that. The Doctor's been male for 50 odd years, so we want the female now. Right? No. Right? Shouldn't happen. It should never have happened, by the way. You should never have been pandered to. Right? Because the bottom line is now, no matter how much people spin the old ratings, and I don't want to get into a debate about the fucking ratings, but no matter how they spin the ratings are fucking pathetic. And the reason why they're pathetic is because even the British audience is looking at this shit and saying, what the hell is this? Right? Because the Doctor Who that they grew up with throughout their life, and even in 2005, is remotely different to what the shit they're peddling today is Doctor Who. That's not Doctor Who and never will be Doctor Who. But that's what she's wanted to happen anyway, you guys. You want the Doctor Who so far removed from what it was to what it is now. Then yous have the cheek then to call yous yourselves the real fans. Yous ain't fans, right? Everything about this show has changed to accommodate you muppets, right? And what have yous done? Is have crashed the show into the ground. The ratings are absolutely disgusting. And I don't care what RTD says about when it reaches a younger audience. Well, the younger audience isn't your core fucking audience, you bleeding moron. And by the way, Doctor Who isn't for everybody. And I'm sick of this phrase being used. It's the reason why Star Wars is in the shitter. It's the reason why Star Trek is in the shitter. And it's the reason why Doctor Who is in the shitter. Doctor Who is not for everybody. Right, and that was the biggest problem that we have with all of these sci-fi franchises. You're trying to make them appeal to the masses. They're not supposed to appeal to the masses, right? That's why they're so fucking shit, right? That's why now everybody looks at them and is embarrassed by them, right? Because you want to insert all of this wokey and then all this social shite and all of this teeny bopper shite and all of this, right? It's no business in fucking Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever fucking sci-fi franchise you bleeding love, right? Sci-fi is a specialised niche, right? But if you write something fucking amazing, right, it can bring new people in. We've seen it with the new version of Lost in Space. We've seen it with the new version of V, Battlestar Galactica. It can fucking work if you fucking respect the original, the source material. And those shows that I mentioned actually did respect the source materials. I mean, I was devastated when Lost in Space, the new version, ended. I was absolutely devastated. It was supposed to go on longer, but then, of course, the coup arrived and everything just went to shit. Right? Okay, but that was a show I was hoping to at least get 7 or 8 seasons of, and I was loving every bit of it. And why? Because I loved the original Lost in Space. It went a bit fucking stupid near the end because it went too comedy. But the original, the first few seasons, not bad, of Lost in Space. Some of the best sci-fi, I would say, out there. And that's what this show tried to do. Right? It had that sense of family, but it also had that sense of sci-fi, sense of danger. All those things that we love about fucking sci-fi, it had. Right? So it is possible to win over an audience, all right, but don't get it fucking clouded. That doesn't mean that all of these franchises for everybody. They're not. They're not. And that's the biggest mistake that this industry as a whole has been making. They've tried to make these like every other poxy fucking show out there. And I'm sick and tired of it. Doctor Who deserves respect. The people that played this role before deserve respect. And their legacy deserves to be respected and protected. And it's not getting any of that. And how are you, Chris? We were just talking about you there a few minutes ago, saying, you know, I was just talking to you about the movie zone and stuff, and we're saying you'd be here all the time, and some of them were saying, you know, they were here for the movie zone. So I was saying, well, then come next week then, because I had a technical difficulty because Crystal's be in the chat on his own. So come and support him and keep him company while we're talking and stuff. So you're absolutely correct, Noel. Sci-fi was never, nor will it be, for everybody. Just leave it for sci-fi fans. Exactly, Chris. That's the issue that we have. And I think big YouTubers as well, you know, you need to be kind of using this narrative as well. It's not for everybody, I'm sorry, but that's not a bad thing. That's why there's so many different genres out there, right? To appeal to everybody. But when you try and make something like Doctor Who that's unique, like everything else, well, then you're losing the core audience. But the audience that you bring in do not respect this franchise. They don't care. And they never will care, right? They just care. Listen, nobody cared about Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, right? They only cared the fact that it was a female doctor and what she represented. It was what she represented they cared about, not the actual character itself, right? But then when they start pandering, then they start, you know, trying to ship the two, Yasmin Khan and Joe, then they showed a little bit of interest because, of course, then they wanted the old lesbian couple in the TARDIS. That's what they're all about, right? Nothing about the show or the plot, the storyline, or wherever's going on around them, even though there wasn't any of that really going on with Chibnall era. I mean, I'd say he probably fared a little bit better than fucking RTD in some aspects, let's be honest. But overall, like, you know, that's what they cared about. So this industry, you know, as a whole has made a big mistake. And they need to forget about, you know, trying to, you know, you can pander to these people, you know, by creating new shows for them, right? And what you could do is you can respect the shows that we grew up with and keep them the way they should be, right? Then you're keeping everybody happy, right? But right now, you've lost. Listen, there's loads of people out there, right? It's great to see. You know, loads of people out there now are rediscovering the old classic movies and the old classic TV shows. That's what you've done. You've pushed away your core audience. You're pandering to a small minority on the whole planet. And in fairness, it's going to bankrupt Disney because Disney have a few more flops on their hands coming. I mean, they're so fucking stupid and pathetic. It's unbelievable. I mean, apparently Bob Iger apparently is having sleepless nights. Well, Bob, I'll tell you what's fucking wrong with Disney. Like, give me a fucking call. Like, let's have a conversation for a couple of hours. I will fucking tell you what's wrong, and I'll tell you how to fucking course correct. All right. If you want to make fucking money with Star Wars, well, you get the people that you have in there right now at the moment, and you sack every single one of those people, and you bring George Lucas in as a consultant, and you hire the best sci-fi fucking writers out there that you can fucking get your hands on, right? And with George Lucas there as a person of experience, because it's his franchise, guiding this, right, with the new people in charge, yeah, you could be onto something. You could be onto something. Now, Rogue One, right, a movie that we never needed, by the way, right? But Rogue One is the best thing that Disney have ever done in relation to Star Wars. And you have to question, well, if they can do that, why have they been fucking up as long as they've been fucking up? And the reason is because it's always been deliberate, folks. It's always been deliberate. There is some talent in there in Disney, right? They're just letting these activists, you know, how Harvey Weinstein's PA can get a job with Disney, right, after he was convicted of what he was convicted of. That woman should be blacklisted as well. Like, she worked for him. But yet there she is, the acolyte, and now she's talking about, oh, might get another season. Well, it's not going to get another season because nobody wants lesbian Star Wars. Like, read the fucking room, right? Nobody's against lesbians, but nobody wants a lesbian Star Wars because that's not what Star Wars is, right? Okay, whether people like it, Star Wars is fucking laser shooty heroes and villains, right? To simplify it, that's what Star Wars is, right? Nobody cares who sticks whose lightsaber up whose fucking arse, like. Right? And that's why Disney is in trouble, right? Bob Iger is trying to figure out, because he wants to push this. Well, it's because you're pushing all that shit is why you're losing money. So if you want to listen, your parks are not going to save you anymore, because even the parks are fucking losing visitors going each year. The numbers keep dropping. So you aren't going to be bailed out. The only way you can get bailed out is by actually doing the right thing. And you need to start from scratch. You need to get all these activists out of Disney, and you need to sack every single fucking one of them. And then, Bob, then you need to sack yourself, you know, because you stood all over this, right? You're complicit as well. I don't care if you have headaches, right? You know, you've absolutely destroyed Disney, and you've allowed Disney to be destroyed. A brand that I actually had respect for as a kid. When I saw that Disney logo, right, as a kid, I knew I was in for a good time. I knew that what I was about to watch was a decent fucking movie or whatever it was, a decent anime, whatever. When that Disney logo came up, I knew I was watching quality. When that Disney logo comes up now, I just laugh and I switch off. And with the Disney logo, switch off. Right, I'm only watching Doctor Who because obviously BBC Studios is still there. But Disney fucking logo comes up, forget about it. If a big movie comes on the screen and I see it in association of Disney pictures and then it has other shit, I won't watch it. I still won't watch it. Won't watch it with Disney now. Except the Doctor Who stuff, because obviously I'm a Doctor Who fan. But even then, I'm kind of like, well, why am I wasting my time with Doctor Who now? I have a lesbian full-on spoof. Listen. If if the original Star Wars was originally filled with all of this ideology, let's just say. We wouldn't even be having this discussion. But it wasn't. That's the thing. But it is funny. It is funny. But at the same time, that's the reason why Disney is in the problems that they're in. That's why BBC is in the problems they're in, and every other studio. Is for the simple fact is that they are not reading the room. You've pushed away your core audience. So unless they listen, I still believe fans need to be you know, I'd say this, you know, you guys in the chat and do be in chats and other channels and all, and mixing with other people on other channels and stuff like that. Yous would be in the know, you know, of all of these fan-made projects that are out there. You know, maybe they've released a short film on YouTube or stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to anybody in this chat, you know, promoting any of that sort of stuff now, fan stuff, because I think that's important, because I think the future of this industry is going to be us, unfortunately. I really do, because the people that are in charge are so incompetent that even some of the fan stuff that I've seen on YouTube, and it might be even a 3-4 minute film, and it's absolutely some of the best stuff that I've seen in years, like, do you know what I mean? And with the advent of AI now, some of these fan-made stuff are starting to look even a bit more realistic and stuff like that, you know? So, you know, in the future, we're looking good. If AI is not abused, right, and it's used properly, we could get some quality entertainment coming in the future from fans. You know, you already see these 50s inspired trailers using AI, but I'm kind of getting sick and tired of them now, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but they're not really trailers. You're showing bits of clips, and then their face will come up in AI. It's not really a trailer sort of thing. But, you know, eventually they'll get to the point where they're able to actually AI a full scene out proper and proper acting. So fan stuff is going to be the future. And you've seen Star Trek fans do that and look at the stuff. Even in Doctor Who. Now, I'm not a huge fan of all the fan stuff that I see from Doctor Who fans, you know, because a lot of these fans, unfortunately, are driven by agenda. So when they do that fan stuff, it usually has this kind of wokey shite in their stuff. We need fans on our side to start doing more Doctor Who fan stuff, because we know they'll leave out the ideology and all of that bollocks and just actually write a proper Doctor sci-fi story, you know, something that we can sink our teeth into. You know, Rabbi, I know, has attempted with some audios to do that. There's Black Glove Studios who have also done some audios, and Daniel was following someone called Beware, I think they were called, that were doing some fan stuff as well. So there is some fan stuff out there, but I'd love to see a Doctor Who fan film, a proper Doctor Who fan film. If I had the money, I'd finance one. I'm not messing. If I had enough money, right, and I had spare money, say, right, and I could afford to do this, I would finance a fan film, a Doctor Who fan film. And of course, all I'd want is a executive producer role. That's it. And maybe some input into the story. You know, I think if someone is going to do a fan film, they should be open to ideas as well. That's how you work together. Yeah, it's Pertwee's birthday today. It was actually quite nice, because I don't follow the Doctor Who official account, but I do breeze in once in a while to have a look. And I did have a look because I knew it was Pertwee's birthday to see, and they did actually acknowledge it. Because, you know, sometimes they do be even late in their acknowledgement, but there does seem to be a change now. And I have to say, any birthdays or anniversaries that have come up, they've been on the ball with it. So I suppose that's one thing I suppose RTD has probably got right, is the fact whoever's running that account now is actually, you know, acknowledging these past doctors, because there was a time where they weren't. Right, there was a time where they weren't, and we reported on it on other channels. It was absolutely fucking disgraceful. That isn't it. Cinnamon went to see it, Chris. You bring up Noel, interesting. You bring up Disney movies and BBC. How many people actually watched the shooty episode in the cinema? No, it was neither the BBC nor the media want to discuss that. Interesting. Yeah, I think I did see something where they showed the money that was taken in. But I have heard reports that some people that saw it, the cinema was pretty much full. In other cases, the cinema wasn't. But you see, it was on at 11 o'clock or something at night as well. Like, it was a bit of a weird one having the cinema, you know, shut era at that hour of the fucking night. Like, so it was a bit. But you are right. Very interesting, because I think the international numbers and the UK numbers for that would be a good indicator, in my opinion, of how good or bad this is being received. Because there is a lot of Doctor Who fans, like myself. I went to see the 50th, right? And I can tell you now, there's nothing better if you're a Doctor Who fan. And I'll never forget it, though. Even though I had me problems with the 50th anniversary at the time, I've reconciled with them over the years, as you know. But I remember the excitement, man. Right? I'm telling you now, if just say, for example, say they were to do it next season, right? I'm not saying it'd happen. But if RTD and Disney, Bad Wolf, whatever, came out and made the announcement that every single episode will be a cinema release as well, you know, I think you would get some fans to go and watch because of the experience. Because not many people will get to experience Doctor Who in the cinema. But it would be interesting, because if the numbers were low, Chris, right, then even if you put this pile of shite in the cinema, it proves that nobody's going to watch it. Listen, I honestly believe this show is dead and buried. I think people are still fooling themselves that RTD is going to deliver in the next season. He's not going to deliver. He couldn't deliver for the 60th anniversary. It wasn't a 60th anniversary, by the way. He couldn't deliver in the fourth season, right? So what makes you think he's going to deliver next season? He's not. He's not. But the thing about it is, it's got its 2 seasons commissioned. There's a spin-off on the way that's being commissioned. There's still no official word, as far as I know, on the 3rd season being commissioned, but 99.9% it's going to be commissioned, because they'll drag. Look at what they did with The Mandalorian. It doesn't matter how bad the shows get, folks, right? The shows get dragged through the mud, right? Disney don't care how bad they get. They just flog them out, right? Like, logically, I don't get it. If the show is a failure, you pull the plug, right? And then you turn your attention to something that you think might be successful because you need to bring the money in. But that's not how modern Disney thinks. They keep pushing them out, pumping them out, thinking that something will stick. And if you use that model, which a lot of the industry is using, just keep churning out the shows until something sticks, right? Then you're not going to get anywhere. And they have done that. And then the few shows that have stuck, right, that are successful, right, then they end up cancelling them, pulling the plug on them, and giving some wokey shite in its place. So even when they do get a success, it's like they're afraid of the success, so they have to end it, because, you know, it exposes that if they do things right, this is what you'll get, and it shows how bad the industry really is. So they pull the plug on the good stuff. They pull the plug on the good stuff, or the stuff that has potential. Right, they always do it. Netflix is a particular culprit of this. They will put out shows, and the 4th season will be absolutely a success, right? Then they'll start the 2nd season, And then midway through the second season, they make the announcement, "Oh, we can't do this show anymore." Right? They just stop, and then they replace it with some bollocks that nobody wants, and that's where we're at. So there's a lot of people. Look, the good thing about this whole shit show is that there are people sitting at home. There are young people sitting at home. There are people our age, people younger than us in their 20s, right? They're looking. They're probably writers. They probably have dreams to be, in the industry. They'll be seeing what's happening now, and it can go two ways. It'll either inspire them to be better than their peers, right, and or whatever, or they'll just join the gravy train. But I do believe that, if people really look at this, and again, I'll go back to the youth, very, very important generation of kids that are being indoctrinated. But if they somehow woke up, saw through all of this could be over by tomorrow. It's, that's the problem you have. Yeah, a lot of these youth now, they're indoctrinated. So when these shows come on, they don't worry about the substance. We grew up, we kind of say it, but we kind of didn't realize how good we had it. We actually had it amazing. Think about it musically, right? Film-wise, TV show-wise, just everything was better. And even the average TV shows back then, like the cop shows, because they had a lot of cop shows, if you remember. I mean, the telly was flooded with cop shows. But even those average ones that didn't really do too well back in the day, people are watching now today, like, and they're fucking classics. They're cult classics now. People realize that even the writing back then, far superior. And by the way, in most of those cop shows, they were doing a lot of social themes, right? And they did touch on race, drug dealing, and all of this other stuff. Like, we grew up with that. It just wasn't fucking, we saw every side of every point of the argument, every side of the story, all of that, but it wasn't shoved down our fucking throats. Like, man, TJ Hooker, right? TJ Hooker in today's standards, right, would be classed as woke if you watch it, right? There was a lot of themes they were dealing with: racial, drug related, you name it, feminism, the whole lot, even back then, right? But the difference was, as I said, they showed every side, because there is different sides to different things, and that's the thing. But the left operate as well. There's their side, and if you don't agree with our side, well, then you're all a bunch of, you're all a bunch of bad Germans. You're racist, homophobes. You're transphobic. You're this, that, and the other, and blah 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 blah. Sick of it. And now you talk about the migrant crisis. You're racist. I'm no racist, right? I just want my people to be protected and safe. There's nothing racist about that, right? This is what they do. I don't know. No, most people in the US don't see Disney paying for a third season of RTD, who they have cancelled She-Hulk, Echo, and maybe The Acolyte after a single season. Well, The Acolyte deserves to be, as I said, no Star Wars, no proper Star Wars geek, right, wants to see a Star Wars show about Jedi lesbians or whatever the fuck they were pushing in that, right? Nobody gives a shit, right? As I said, people watch Star Wars because it's escapism, and they grew up with these characters, and the way they've seen these characters being utterly destroyed would make anybody cry anyway, right? But this brand of Star Wars, if you like, is so far removed from the source material. It's laughable. Like, as I said, if people wanted to see lesbian lesbian Jedi or whatever. They'd watch the well, there's always been this running joke. I don't know if it's actually true, but I think there's a trilogy porn movie collection. So I think, in fairness, if they have that, there'd be lesbian Jedi. So if you want your lesbian Jedi, go and watch that. But people tune in to watch Star Wars. They tune in to watch the characters that they love and all of the expanded universe, all of that stuff. You know, that's what they're interested in. That's what they are interested in, expanded and respected. Do you know what I mean? When you start inserting, you know, feminist ideology and all of this LGBTQ stuff, and then on top of that, all this race nonsense, because apparently black people are oppressed and they're the most oppressed people on the fucking planet, just like the LGBTQ plus community. Lord of me bollocks, like. Do you know what I mean? Lord of me bollocks. I mean, black people think that they have the fucking whole thing of slavery. You know, it's their thing. You know, they were the slaves. No, my people were slaves too. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't have the monopoly on it. You don't have the monopoly on racism either. We see movements like BLM, you know, turns you into a sheep and made you think that you were all victims, when in reality you were actually doing all better in your lives, and now you are all back to square one. And now they want to bring in black only spaces. So they're going to bring back segregation, except they don't call it segregation anymore. It's black only spaces and all this other nonsense. And these are all falling for it. It's history repeating itself. And I can't believe these are that fucking stupid. And I'm including white people in this as well. I mean, the fact that you're all fucking stupid and blind to all of this that's happening to us is unbelievable, right? They're trying to divide us. They're trying to separate us, right? They do it through the music industry, they do it through the entertainment industry, they do it through politics, right? They do it even through climate change, for fuck's sake. Nothing that they can use to put a wedge between us all, they will do. Right? You all need to wake up, right? There's a few of us out there that are awake. I know most of you that support me anyway and have all these years are like-minded like me and that are awake and know what's happening out there. But we need the rest of you to wake up now. Like, you know, this joke has been going on now about, you know, nearly 13 years now. Like, this was supposed to fade out. So come on, you need to wake up and cop onto yourselves. What's fucking happened? Normally these fads just fucking come in and they fade away. This hasn't. This is still fucking here. And it's not, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Even though they're losing trillions. This is the fun. This is the weirdest thing about it. They've literally lost trillions. So I'd like to know who's actually propping up Disney now. Who's propping up all of these studios? Because they've literally lost billions. Like they've lost. Remember, was it Steven Spielberg or James Cameron says to Tom Cruise, "You literally saved you saved this industry. You saved all of our asses when he put out Maverick." Right? So, well, if the industry's that bad and Maverick showed you the way to go, well, then why didn't you all follow Tom Cruise's fucking example and say, do you know what, maybe we need to go back to telling stories. Maybe we need to go back to, you know, character development. Forget about all the other nonsense. Right? And just because you forget about all the other nonsense doesn't mean that we're erasing fucking people. What I'm saying is that the franchises that are supposed to be what they're supposed to be and not what they've become, you leave them, and then if you want to pander to the rest of the whatever percent it is of the whole planet, well then do that with other TV shows. Create new TV shows for them and stop being lazy anyway. Do you know what I mean? How disrespectful. I mean, you want to pander to these people, but yet you're not doing it properly. You're taking existing characters and you're changing everything about that character because you're too lazy to build a character from scratch. Great logic. I mean, where's that got you? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's have lost a few $1 trillion. So, Bob Iger, if you're listening, yeah, if you want to have a chat, mate, yeah, we'll have a chat. Yeah, if you want to put me on the Disney board, you know, I'm willing. Put me on the Disney board. Tell you, within a year, we'll turn the company around. A year. right? But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but the right people are going to lose their jobs, Bob. And then when they lose all their jobs, Bob, then I'm going to kick you off the board. Yeah, Bob. And then I'm going to take over Disney. And then it's going to become Irish Disney. Yeah. And then, you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. Disney's going to explode. It's great. What's it in 62 countries? They'll be all over the planet by the time I'm finished with it. Right? Everybody will want Disney. Disney will be on everybody's lips. Because you know what it'll be? When people see the Disney brand again, they'll be like, oh, that's a brand that I can trust. That's a brand of quality. All joking aside though, Bob, that's the way you should be thinking, right? Disney should be the top dog like it used to be. And if you wanted to become the top dog again, then you need to make the hard decision and grow a fucking backbone, right? And what you need to do is you need to fucking fire every single dickhead that you have hired that has absolutely destroyed this company. And I'd be getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy and everybody associated with Star Wars, as I said. That's your biggest prize asset right there, Star Wars. And you need to actually repair the damage that you've done, you know, because I'm starting to see it from Star Wars fans now. There's less of them watching, which is great. But, you know, there's going to come a point where all of these fans are going to have to make a decision. And I'm getting close to that as well when it comes to Doctor Who. And it's about whether we should keep still talking about it, promoting it, because it's still promotion. You know, even if you're talking, giving shit about it, you're still giving them promotion. You know, I said this years ago when I started off my journey that we should focus more on promoting the stuff that's actually great and giving that all the attention and stuff like that. But of course, it's never going to go that way, and you're never going to get people to not complain about stuff, especially if they're passionate about it. So, you know, it's a bit of a fool's dream, but a dream nonetheless that I think would be achievable one day, because I think the way it's going, I think people are getting more disillusioned every day, you know, and there will come a time where people will turn off. People just need to get out there anyway. You know, TV, listen, TV is great in some aspects, but it has had a negative impact on us all. You know, there's no sense of community anymore. People are stuck in front of their TVs now. You know, when I was growing up, it wasn't just about the TV. Saturday and Sunday nights, the weekend was big TV nights, right? The weekends. But during the week and all, school nights and all that, even summer holidays, you never watched TV, right? We never really watched TV. We were out all day. We were socializing. My mother and father would be talking to a bunch of neighbors. They'd be all down, because we lived in a block of flats. They'd be down in the flat square there, all with their chairs, sitting down, listening to a bit of music, talking to each other. The kids be running around playing football, whatever it was. The girls skipping, you know, playing whatever they were playing, all of that other stuff. That's all gone now. And why? Because TV, everybody just sits in front of the screen, reality TV, blah, blah, blah. We like to watch people's train wreck of lives and all of this, and superficial assholes like the Kardashians and all of these other fucking gobshites. I mean, people need to switch off their telly more, if I'm honest about it. Of course, that would put us out of that would put us out of commission. But that's the reality of it, though. You know, there's just too much going on in the world. That people just need to switch off their TVs and get out there, interact with people in your community, get that sense of community back. Fuck your TV. You know, TV should be there, like, you know, as I said, we watched it the weekends, sort of thing. The radio would be on during the week, music be playing in the gaff early in the morning, you know, the news, the current affairs shows and all that. That was all radio. The TV would only go on in my man Dad's gaff at 6 o'clock in the evening, and that was watch the 6-1 news. And then they'd probably watch a movie then, and then the TV would be off then they'd be getting ready to go to bed and all that. So the TV wasn't the big main thing in the gaff. Like, people in our day got out, but that's gone now. That's gone completely now. People would rather, you know, stay stuck to their phones or you know, go home, switch Netflix on, rather than, you know, get out there. And I understand there were some people that work a hard day's work and they want to relax and all of that. But, you know, even again, the weekends, they'd rather stay in than go out and interact with their communities and stuff like that. TV is not everything. TV has made us lazy as well. And a lot of the stuff that's happened to us these past few decades is because we've gotten distracted by all of this shite that they've put on TV. So, you know, that's the situation that we're in, really. But yeah, there's going to come a point, you know, where focus will have to shift. But whether that ever will, I mean, I've been saying it for 7 years and it still hasn't. So I don't think it will now. For some out there, there's too much money to be made. You know, if they go all positive, they lose half of their audience. Do you know what I mean? So some of them are stuck where they're stuck. So, you know, as long as the industry is bad, but we should strive for it to be better. You know, because, you know, when things are bad in the world, you know, TV isn't a bad thing to get a bit of escapism. You know, and it wasn't back in their day. I mean, we had the threat of Cold War over growing up in the 80s. Anybody that grew up in the 80s knows that. Like, there was always, you know, a threat there of nuclear war, you know? So, but we got on with it, you know? But TV wasn't, you know, ramming this down our throats. Like, you had your current affairs programs and your news programs where they spoke about all that shit. But it never really bled into the entertainment industry as much. And when it did, you know, especially like movies like Red Heat and stuff like that, you know, they always try to, even seeing it, you know, the Russians and the Americans, they start off being suspicious of each other. By the end of the movie, though, the Russian and the American are best friends and all of this shit. But they did show the conflict, and they did show both of their beliefs and all of this and stuff in the movie. And that's why those movies worked well. And that's why we weren't going back then, oh, that's woke, stop indoctrinating or stop pushing this agenda. No, because they showed every, as I said, every side of the coin. And, you know, that's what they're missing now. A lot of these writers are just, you know, they're all activists. They have their own ideology, their own beliefs. So when they get a job, they're going to push that and that alone, right? They're actually incapable of putting the counter argument in because they disagree with it so much, you know, that they won't even look at the counter argument anyway. They'll just dismiss it. And when facts are shown to them, you know the way they are, you've seen them all on social media. When you bring facts to any of these people, what do? They either block, run away like cowards, or they start calling you names and start dragging other people into the conversation then to cause a pile-on because they can't deal with facts. So that's why you'll never see a counter argument. Now, Seth MacFarlane, to a certain extent, does do that, right? You see the Orville, the Orville is woke, right, by today's standards, if you were to look at that. But he did, in most of the episodes that he did when he was, you know, dealing with an issue, he did try to show all sides of the coin, which I'll commend him for. But, you know, I think the last season was a bit too heavy on the message and not enough counter on it. You know, so it's probably right that the Orville is finished because he probably would have started pushing his anti-Trump nonsense and all of this other crap. So probably ended at the right time when that show ended because there's no word on another season, and hopefully there isn't because I don't trust him now to do what he did in season 1 and 2. I think he got more extreme, to be quite honest with you. But that's a shame, you know, but that's what you're dealing with in this industry, and you need to get rid of them all. So if Bob wants to save Disney, it's not a simple fact of, you know, he has to get rid of the whole, he has to clear it all out. And I don't think he has the backbone to do that because that's exactly what you'd have to do. You'd have to sack everybody, you'd literally have to sack people and hire people. But I don't think he has it in him. So Disney is going to continue to plunder into oblivion. And then Bob will be asking why. Then he'll probably step down at some stage. They'll bring in another CEO to try rescue it. But that CEO will do the same thing that Bob Iger done. And then that CEO will be wondering why Disney is still failing. Unless they actually address the issue, you bunch of fucking gobshites, you will never actually fix the root core of the problem. And the root core of the problem is that Disney is infested by a load of activists and ideologues, and you need to get them out. Every single fucking one of them, right? But when Kathleen Kennedy and others come out with the force is female or whatever that fucking quote was, right? She should have been sacked on the fucking spot. She should have been sacked on the spot, right? That to me was a stupidity beyond the highest order. Anybody says that should be sacked there and then, right? The force isn't fucking female, right? And all of this bollocks, right? The force is the force, and that's the end of it, right? The force is female. Star Wars is for women. Blah 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 blah. Right? Listen, right? Reality check here. Again, nothing wrong with this, but the majority of sci-fi fans are male, right? It's just a simple fact of the matter, right? It's nothing got to do with sexism or anything like that. That's just the reality. More males love sci-fi than women. I'm not saying there aren't women sci-fi fans out there, but the majority of the fans, if I was to split it percentage-wise, I'd say 80-20 your way, right? So when you come out with slogans like the force is female or whatever the fucking tagline was, right, you lose that 80%. Then what you try to do then is you try to replace that 80%, not with the women fans that you have, because they're women fans, they like Star Wars, but then they even see through your bullshit. But then you replace them with the rainbow crowd and every other crowd that you can get your hands on. But they're not fans. That's the most important thing here. They're not fans. So, you know, as I said, Bob, you know, I'm available. You know, if you want me to help you sort out Disney, you know, and tell you who you should sack, give us a phone call. But I'm pretty sure you already know this, but you're just a spineless little weasel and you don't have the backbone to do what needs to be done. You know, it's like in politics. You need that someone to take a stand, someone with a backbone, someone with charisma, and you certainly don't have any of that. So step down and give it to someone that has got a backbone and that can do what you can't do. If not, you better grow on pretty fucking fast and you better start listening to fans. You want to know what's wrong with Disney Star Wars or what's wrong with the Disney brand? Go and talk to the real fans. And I'm talking about those ones that get attacked by your attack dogs in the media. Go and talk to those fans. They will tell you what's wrong with your brand. And trust me, if you listen to half of what they said, you could turn this around. It'll take a lot of, time. It will take time, but you can turn this around, right? You can win listen, there's nothing more than people wanting to fall in love with Disney again. A lot of people grew up with Disney. I grew up with Disney, right? Right? People before us grew up with Disney. Disney's been in all our lives. It's not just an American brand. Disney has been in all our lives, right? Disney, one stage or another, has touched all of our lives with its movies, TV, whatever, right? Something that they have made you feel something, right? So, you know, it can be reversed, this. He just needs to remember what Disney is supposed to be about. I mean, he should really go back to listen to Walt Disney. Walt Disney put a lot of things down. He also, there's a lot of interviews that he's done about Disney and his brand and what his hopes and dreams were for Disney. And it's nothing what it is today, right? This is not what he envisioned. So maybe you should listen to the man that actually, created the brand. His words are down on paper. His words are on, as I said, tape or whatever you want. He's recorded, right? So you have stuff there. This is not what this man wanted, right? No matter what you think of Walt Disney, this is not what he wanted for Disney, right? This is not what he wanted for Disney. And what these people have done is absolutely disgraceful. But we all grew up with Disney. It's a brand that, that everybody would like to see back to its glory days. But it's an uphill struggle. Really is. And they have pissed off a lot of families, a lot of generation of families as well with the stuff that they've done. And remember, Disney was classed itself as a bit of a Catholic brand, a Christian brand. Well, it's absolutely destroyed that narrative now with all its LGBTQ plus crap. So, there'll be a lot of Christian Catholic families that will never go back and watch the Disney brand again. The Disney brand was framed as a wholesome brand. You wouldn't say that about today's modern Disney. It's not a wholesome brand anymore. Anyway, I hope this does kind of make up for the fact that I couldn't do the Bone Collector. But as I said, we were watching the movie, the first 10 minutes were on, and then all of a sudden, everything just went to shit. And as I said, I've been watching disaster movies these past couple of nights. I've watched The Core, as I said, Outbreak, Twister, fucking, as I said, Time Machine, the original, the updated version, fucking, I mentioned Deep Impact, didn't I? Yeah, I was going to give Armageddon a go, but, the Deep Impact and Armageddon were out around the same time, but I've always favoured Deep Impact over Armageddon because Armageddon was a bit over the fucking top. But I'm not lying, I do like Armageddon, but I just prefer Deep Impact because it was more human. It was more ground level, whereas Deep Impact was about the heroes, wasn't it really? This wasn't really about, it was about ordinary people. And as I said, I watched The Core, which, is an underrated disaster movie because of all the other movies that were made. But that was a pretty goddamn good movie. As I said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So that's what I've been doing. I've been watching all of that. I'm actually on I'm on season 1 of Alf now at the moment. I'm on the 7th episode now. And I grew up watching that as a kid as well. That was always on the telly when I grew up. And you know what? Now, it's the first time I've watched it since then, since I was a kid, believe it or not. And do you know what? 7 episodes in, and I had a huge smile on my face. Now, some of the jokes are a bit dated. Of course, that's to be expected. But bleeding hilarious. And it just made me think, do you know what would be a deadly show to do today if they didn't do all the politics and all with it? But an updated version of Alf would be a great idea. A good family, wholesome show. But they wouldn't make it wholesome and a family show. They would actually do something to it. But if you had someone that loved the original and wanted to respect the original and did everything, like the way it was done back then I'd have no problem with it. But I'm actually really enjoying it. As I said, I'm an adult now, so some of the jokes are a bit dated and, they're not as funny as I remember as a kid. But still, still enough in it that keeps me entertained, because the message in a family is core to this, and that's what we grew up with. Even a lot of these, like even the A-Team, for example, right? I know that's the weirdest fucking thing to bring up in this when I talk about family, but if you look at it, the A-Team were a family. They cared for each other. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of the shows that we grew up with, even if it wasn't the mother, the father, the kids, the granny, the granddad, aunties and uncles and stuff like that, like things like that, the A-Team, like you had that family unit with all of those members, like, do you know what I mean? They cared for each other. So, you know, you don't get that type of wholesome entertainment anymore. It's the same with Knight Rider, you know, when Michael Knight starts, when people start joining the crew, as they say, you know, that becomes a little family as well. Do you know, it's actually looking back at most of these TV shows, obviously we were kids, you know, a lot of this would have went over our heads, but looking back as an adult now, I can appreciate these shows even more, and especially Alf, because as I said, that core message in that is family. And you know, that family, when he crashed into their house and stuff like that, and they took him in, obviously they kind of thought he was an alien, and then he wakes up, starts talking to them, but they took him in straight away, right? They took him in straight away and made him part of the family straight away, and I loved that. I did. And then he even when they accused them, because obviously the cat, because on his planet he eat cats or whatever, they like eating cats, and there's this running joke about the cat. But they even accuse him because the cat goes missing, and he goes out of his way to try find the cat to prove to these people that he's actually a good person and he didn't eat the cat. But he ends up bringing the wrong cat back to the house. It's hilarious. But they realise what he was doing, and I just think it's sweet. And we don't get that enough in our entertainment anymore, right? You see a family unit now, it's either two blokes and a kid, or two women and a kid, or it's blah blah. It's not the traditional family. You know what I mean? It's like they don't want to celebrate family in that form anymore, and it's just it's like, to me, the kind of Alf. Do you know that sort of way? It's like Harry and the Hendersons as well. Same thing there, family unit. Big fuck comes into their lives and they fall in love with him. You know, I love it, man. Love it. Man, that's getting me depressed now thinking of all of that. But that's what's missing. That wholesome, you know, make you feel good. You know, everything that they put out now fucking makes you depressed or whatever, you know, or makes you feel bad about who you fucking are. You know, but these shows truly did embrace differences and different people from different backgrounds. You know what? That's the most ironic thing about all of this culture war, when I hear these lefty twats come out and say the shite that they come out and say, with, listen, their entertainment was more diverse, right, and showed different dynamics than your generation ever did. And that is the sad thing about this whole situation, is all the bullshit that they peddle is a false narrative. You just have to go back and watch TV shows and movies back in the day, and it completely obliterates their narrative. We just made do with what we had. Same with Doctor Who. You know, for people to call Doctor Who racist because, you know, there wasn't, because they had to get someone else to play Asian actors, because, you know, back then Britain wasn't full of Asian fucking people. But yeah, try explain that logic to a lefty twat out there. You know, there's no talking sense to them. Do you know what I mean? They don't really understand that our countries and our cultures and everything and the people in the countries was completely different to what it is in 2020 fucking 4. Anyway, I will leave it there. I hope this has made up for the fact that we couldn't do the movie zone tonight, but we will be back next Sunday to do that. It's the Bone Collector now because it's Chris's movie. We've put it off a long time now, so we're going to get it done. So next week will be definitely the Bone Collector. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make fucking sure that I have it. I'm going to make sure that I have it and it works before I start, because that'll be the only way to guarantee so there's no glitches. But anyway, she'll be back off our little break anyway, so if it doesn't work on it, I'll just use the computer or something. I wanted to play it on my big telly because I'm sick of watching it on my computer, but if I have to watch it on my computer next week, that's what I'll do. But I hope this stream kind of made up for it. So I'll change the title on YouTube, but I just want to thank everybody that came into the chat to listen to me tonight. I know we used to stream on Sundays and we would have got obviously a lot more people watching, but as you know, the streams haven't been very regular on this channel in a while. It's just I've been just a bit disheartened with everything that's been going on. But I will be talking about the new Superman movie. There's been a lot of leaks dropping and all of that stuff. So I will be discussing that now next week. Also, we will have PD and Queen Charlotte on with Cinnamon. And of course, they'll be bringing up the topics that they want to talk about on Wednesday. We won't be talking about Doctor Who now from here on in. Obviously, when it gets closer to the series, then we'll pick it up again. But I have no interest in promoting anything that's going on with this show. If the spin-off manages, I don't know when the spin-off gets released, if it's getting released before we see season 2 or it's getting released with season 2. But when the spin-off happens, I will give that a watch, especially if Martha Jones is character. Obviously, if Martha Jones returns as a character, I want to see that because I do like Frigma, and it'd be nice to see her back in the Doctor Who universe. The only problem is that obviously if RTD is writing it, I will have me reservations. But it'd be nice to see her back. Got to be honest with you. So so we'll be talking different topics. So again, guys, if there's anything that you'd like us to bring up, any topics you'd like us to talk about, come in the chat on the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays. Let me know, so give us a bit of notice, and then I'll talk to the panelists, whoever I have on, and I'll see if they're interested in speaking about this topic. Because it's not just about me, obviously. And if they're on for it, then we'll discuss that topic. But if there are any topics that you'd like us to talk about, let us know. So again, I just want to apologize for the fact that we couldn't do the Bone Collector this week, but I did try. I did get the first 10 minutes of the movie in, and then it just decided to die on me. So we will do it next week. And then, as I said, myself, Chris, and Real Super Doctor, we will be coming up with more movies to watch. I was thinking of doing Axel F, but I've heard so many awful things about it. But the one person that actually doesn't like it, that makes me think it's a pile of crap, and I trust his judgment, is Tom Connors. And he said it actually belittles the Axel F character. It's more woke shite. His daughter is in it, and she's giving him a hard time and all of this bollocks and stuff. So that has kind of put me off. But I think we did Beverly Hills Cop already. I'm not sure if we did. Chris will remind me. I'm pretty sure we did. If we did do Beverly Hills Cop, I was thinking maybe we'll do Beverly Hills Cop 2. Maybe the week after the Bone Collector. Because I wouldn't mind watching the second one. Because I like the first one, but for some weird reason, I've slightly preferred the second one, even though the first one is the purest Beverly Hills Cop. Because the second one, even in the second one, it changed a little bit. There was a bit more comedic element, but it was still gritty enough for me to like it. Whereas the third one went completely down the comedic route, and the jokes were a bit stale. you know, because me and Tom were actually talking. About, because I said, you know, I actually hate Beverly Hills Cop 3. And he asked me why, and I told him my reasons, and he actually said it was a fair point. So again, you know, Tom, he's a Beverly Hills Cop fan, but he understood me reasons for not liking the third one. And so if this one is if this one is worse in Tom's opinion, then that says it for me. We did Beverly Hills Cop 1, not the second or the third. So if you just want to do the second one, we could do Beverly Hills Cop 2 after The Bone Collector. I wouldn't mind doing another Eddie Murphy movie. Or if there's another Eddie Murphy movie that you could think of. I know we did do Coming to America. So if anybody asks, we already did that. We did Trading Places. I know we did that as well. There is The Golden Child. 48 Hours. Of course, it's the sequel, another 48 Hours, which is basically just a rehash of the first one with slightly different elements in it, but it's still a good movie. I still like the second one. Yeah, we'll have a chat with John. John is just feeling a bit, he was like me. I was actually feeling a war out this weekend, and I was actually supposed to do stuff over this weekend. I actually took a break. Today was the first day that I did that, and so I was on a space earlier on X, and then obviously I was going to do the movie zone. I was actually running behind time because it was lucky I seen Chris's message, because he was asking me was the movie zone happening, and it was just I lost track of bloody time. But you know, we got on anyway to try do it. But The Golden Child was great. Yeah, I love that movie. I think that movie, Eddie Murphy is brilliant in that movie, but that movie is so underrated, in my opinion. I do The Golden Child. I'll see. I think John would be on for that, but we'll ask John. About that. So it might be The Bone Collector and The Golden Child, because The Golden Child is a good movie, and you know, it's an underrated gem. I agree. It definitely is. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Chris, thank you for popping in as usual, as you do every movie stream, even though this one wasn't a movie stream, but thank you. To Holden as well, thanks for popping in as well. Really do appreciate that. Who else have we got? There's only a few people in here, so I'll give them a mention. On Comics as well joined us earlier. And Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and now Doctor Who. There you go. So I want to thank you all for popping in and joining me. I hope this is kind of made up, as I said, for not having the movie stream, but it was nice to have a little catch up, which is all anyway, because as I said, you know, I've been just disillusioned a little bit and haven't been streaming as much as I should, but I've enjoyed this one tonight. Now we will be back on Tuesday, of course, as I said, with Christian, and then on Wednesday with Queen Charlotte and Co. For our 2 streams. So come and join us for them. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. So yeah, see you later. I will change, obviously, just in case there's any confusion, I will change the name of the stream on YouTube, just in case you all think it's a watch along. So I'll fix that as well. So good night, folks. Take care. And I'll talk to you for the next one. All right.